Hello everyone, this is Vaishnavi from Edureka and I welcome you all to this session on Android Design Layout tutorial. But before we get started, let's take a quick look at the agenda for today's topic. So first of all, I'll be giving you a proper introduction to the UI components and then discuss about the views that are present. Moving further to the discussion, I'll be talking about the different types of layouts that are present in Android development. I'm going to be discussing about the units of measurement, which is something new to you guys. That is, we have different kinds of units of measurements that are present in the design layout. So we'll be discussing everything about that. And finally, I'll wrap up this session by walking you through a demo where I'll be explaining different features that are present like drag and drop, text layout, design layout, and all of it. So I hope the agenda was clear to you guys, and I also suggest you to subscribe to Edureka channel to never miss out any updates on the trending technologies and hit the bell icon to never miss out any notifications on the trending technologies on this channel. So let's get started. Talking about the major UI components present, any application that you're working on or any application that you want to develop has and should have a user interface, which is everything that the user can see and interact with. Android basically provides a variety of pre-built UI components such as structured layout objects and UI controls that allow you to build a GUI, that is graphical user interface, for your application. Android also provides other UI modules for special interfaces such as dialogues, notifications, menus, and so on. And talking about the typical UI components that are used for any Android application development, they are namely main action bar, view control, content area, and split action bar. So these play a major role while you're developing a complex application. So you'll get a clear understanding of how these UI components work when we get to the demo section of this video. And another important factor that helps in customizing the UI design would be the view component. So what exactly is a view? Let's take a look. View is basically considered as a basic building block for a proper user interface that is actually created from the view class. View is a small rectangular box in Android development which responds to the user inputs, such as, for example, we have button, checkbox, and so on. And we have something called the view groups here. So what exactly is this view group? A view group is an invisible container of other views, namely a child view and other view groups. This view class is a superclass of all the GUI components in Android. In Android Studio, we have a commonly used views called as edit text and image view. So these are the two views which we'll be working on for now, guys. And it is also considered as the base class for widgets, which are used to create interactive UI components such as buttons, text fields, and so on. We also have different layouts under this subclass of the view group class. Talking about the view group class and the typical layout, which basically defines the visual structure for an Android UI, and it can be created either at runtime using view or the view group objects, or can be declared using a simple XML file which is located in the result layout folder of any project that you're working on. As I mentioned that you can save it in the form of an XML file, Android provides a straightforward XML vocabulary that corresponds to the view classes and the subclasses, such as those which are present for widgets and layouts. So this tutorial focuses on a layout design, so we'll be talking more about layouts, the different types of layouts, and how exactly you can design this layout while you're developing an application using Android. So let's understand more about layouts. A layout basically defines the structure of the user interface of your application. All elements in the layout are built using a hierarchy of view as well as the view group objects. A view usually is something that the user can see and interact with, whereas the view group is an invisible container that defines the layout structure for view and other view group objects. Now, what exactly is a layout over here? How can you work with this layout? By looking at the view. A view plays a major role while you want to develop an application because you need to see the things that are present in an application. Like, for example, if you want to add colors to it, you want to customize one of your application page. Like, say, for example, if you're working on developing an application that is solely for login, the layout of this application can be designed using this view class and the view group class. As I mentioned, Android provides solid support for development of any UI based applications. It also provides a variety of widgets that the programmer can use it to create a desired layout and interface of his choice. These layout elements can be created via programming language directly or through XML layout files. We'll see how to create XML based layout in Android. First, we'll understand why to use XML based layouts in Android, and also we'll see what are the different advantages of using this XML based layouts in Android. So in Android, an XML based layout is a file that defines the different widgets to be used in an UI and the corresponding relationship between those widgets and their containers. So do note this, guys, that Android treats all the layout files as resources. So as a result of this, the layouts are kept in the folder result layout. So if you're using Eclipse or if you're using Android Studio, it creates a default XML layout file in the result layout folder. So this is exactly why we need to use XML based layouts. So it helps in treating it as the resources, which is very useful if you're working on a complex Android application. Now talking about the benefits of using this XML based layouts. So this XML based layouts are very useful if you know the basic UI components at the time of compiling. If you require the runtime UI components, then you need to add them using the XML code. So this XML based layout have the following advantages. It is mainly XML is very popular and widely used format, and the majority of the developers out there are comfortable using this XML based layouts. It helps to provide separation of the UI components from the code logic, which in turn provides the flexibility to change one component without affecting much the other. Generating XML output is very easy than writing the direct code, which makes it easier to have drag and drop tools to generate interfaces for Android applications. So this was about how and why to use the XML based layouts in Android applications. Now let's take a look at the different types of layouts that are present in Android development. There are a number of layouts provided by Android which you will use in almost all Android applications to provide different view, look and feel. So here are a few which I'll be talking about: linear layout, absolute layout, table layout, frame layout, and relative layout. So these are considered as the standard layouts or the view groups that can be used for Android application. So now let's explore each one of them in detail. So first I'll be talking about a linear layout. What comes to your mind when you hear the word linear? Linear in graphical terms refers to a straight line. So this linear in Android development is used to arrange views in a single column or a row. It is further divided into horizontal and vertical layout. So we'll see how this works when we get to our demo section. Now talking about absolute layout. So this absolute layout enables you to specify the exact location of its children. Now say for example, if you're developing an Android application and you want to locate the child element or the child class. So how can you do that when you're working on Android application? This is not any web application or anything, guys. This is a mobile application, right? Android basically deals with mobile development. Using this absolute layout, you can specify the exact location of the children in the class. As the name suggests, you'll have rows and columns. So this table layout helps in grouping the views into rows and columns. Now, what is relative layout? So this relative layout enables you to specify how child views are positioned relative to each other. Okay. Now, say if you want to add in two buttons onto your application. So you will want to place one button in one position and you want to place another in another position. Okay. So using this relative layout, you can specify how to position these child classes in your application. Now talking about frame layout. Frame layout is a placeholder on the screen that is used to display a single view. A frame is actually an entire screen. So the frame holds the entire design or the layout. So inside this frame is where you can find your table layout, your absolute layout, your linear layout and all. So these are not the only layouts that are present. We have a lot of layouts. I've discussed the most commonly used layouts, guys. So I think you guys understood what are the different types of layouts that are present. Now let's move ahead and understand the units of measurement. Now you might ask, why am I discussing about units of measurement in Android application development, right? The layouts have different form of measurements. So that's the reason I want you guys to understand how exactly you can specify the size of an element using Android. So the unit of measurement that I'll be talking about is DP, SP, PT, and PX. I think most of you are very familiar with PX because it's used for pixels. And talking about the other three, DP is density independent pixel. One DP is equivalent to one pixel on a 160 dpi screen. So talking about SP, SP is a scale independent pixel. This is also very similar to DP and is recommended for specifying the font sizes in your application. Now PT. PT is used for points, right? A point here is defined to be 1 by 7th of an inch. So let's move ahead to the interesting part of this session where I'll be walking you guys through a small demo where I'll showcase how exactly this layouts can be designed using Android. So in order to do this, I will not be considering using IntelliJ here. This is because we already have a dedicated platform in order to perform these actions, that is Android Studio. Many developers out there would have worked on this amazing tool. So I'll be working on Android Studio for this session. Okay, so the first thing I'll be doing is download Android Studio. I already have Android Studio in my system, so I'm just going to quickly open it. So this is Android Studio Workspace. So the first thing I'll be doing is create a new project. So go to new and go to project. It'll ask me for what kind of project I want to create. So we have so many options over here. We have basic activity, empty activity, bottom navigation activity, full screen activity, master detail, flow, and simultaneously we have the information regarding what exactly this project or activity is about. We also have navigation drawer activity, Google Maps activity, native C++, table activity, scrolling activity, and login activity. So these are the different types of projects that you can create using Android Studio. So the first thing I'll be doing is I'll select navigation or drawer activity because we are considering working with the layout. So we need to use the drawer activity as well. So I'm going to click on next. You can also create an empty activity and select the layout, but I'm going to be considering using the navigation or drawer activity. So click on next. The name, I'm going to provide this as my first application. You can see that the language being selected is Kotlin. Okay, select this project will support instant apps and click on finish. You can see that the Gradle scripts are also present here, and you can see that it is syncing. It is going to build the application for us. So Gradle is actually a build tool. It is trying to build resources for us. So you can see that the build is completed now and also it is synced. So the first thing I'll be doing is click on the drop down over here. So this is a project that I've created that is my first application. So I'm going to click on the drop down over here. You can see that the Gradle libraries are present, ID libraries, app. So this is where all XML files or the design layout is present. So again, we have the Gradle components here. So these are a few build libraries by Gradle. So let's click on app over here. So this contains build files. So source field is where we're going to find our corresponding design layout. So Android test, this is used to test an application. You can see that it has example instrument test. You can see that the code is already present here. So let's not get into Android test. We are currently working on layouts. So let's focus on finding where exactly layouts reside. Okay, so let's get to the main section here. So this Java holds main activity. So you can see that there is this corresponding code which says main activity, and you can see that it is creating a function called onCreate. So this is the class main activity here. And as I've already selected import all the functions that are present, so it is going to import everything on its own. Okay. Yeah, so this is a corresponding code for main activity. Okay, so this is where all our drawable files and layouts reside. So drawable holds XML files here, and layout is what we're going to be focusing on. So let's get to the layout section here. Okay, we have 4 XML files here. So one says activity main. So you can see that there are 2 components here. One is considered as a parent layout and the other is considered as a child layout. And talking about app bar, so you can see that the activity main has plain blank screens over here, whereas the application bar holds an image over here and it also holds the text field. Talking about content main, this XML file holds the constraint layout. So content main also holds the similar activities that are taking place in the application bar main. Now talking about navigation header, you can see that the images are also added over here. It says linear layout and it says application compact text view. So it says Android Studio and androidstudio.android.com. Okay, so this is the text that is holding and the image which this is holding. Okay. In this session, I'll be explaining how exactly this entire thing works. So you can see the design over here basically. Now, say for example, you can code it on your own and then look at the design. So you have this field called text field. So this text field basically helps you to code the corresponding layout for you. So you can see that this linear layout contains all necessary arrangements or all necessary information regarding the width, height, background, padding, and so on. Say here you can find the layout width to match the parent. And then we have layout height here, which says dimension navigation header height. And do note that you can provide values over here, which is of the decimal format. Okay. And take a look at the background. It says side navigation bar, that is specifying the location of it. Padding bottom, it says activity vertical margin. And you can see that it is saying 16 dp. It says dimension activity horizontal margin. Okay, so these both are same. The padding towards the right and padding towards the left are similar. And the theme is the style app compact dark. Okay, I've selected the dark theme, so it is going to show us in dark, and orientation is vertical. We have the same for the image view, text view as well. Now let's take a look at the design here. I'm going to zoom it for you guys. Now, say for example, if you want to add anything else, you can see that this is saying it is a linear layout. So linear layout can hold a single row and column, right? Now, say for example, if I want to add this button, I'm just going to drag and drop it over here. Yeah, you can see that it is added in this part of the view. This is because this is a linear view and it can hold only one component at a time. Now, if I want to add an image to this, it says add resources. I'm going to say image, click on OK. It is not going to add it anywhere else apart from this section, right? So this is because it is a linear layout. So I'm going to take off this image view. All right. Yeah, we have a button here and I'm going to add text to it. We have palette over here. So let me just talk about what is a palette. Palette is a list of views and view groups that you can drag onto your layout. Now, what about the component tree which is present over here? This component tree basically helps in viewing the hierarchy of your layout. Now, talking about the toolbar. So this is a toolbar. So this toolbar buttons to configure your layout appearance in the editor and helps to change some of the layout attributes. Talking about the design editor, okay, so this exact view that you have here is the design editor. One is considered as a parent and the other is considered as a child. And talking about the attribute, okay, so these are the common attributes that are present, guys. It controls the selected views attributes. Okay, so I hope you guys are clear with it. Now let me just go here. It says coordinator layout. So let me just quickly give you a proper or brief introduction to what is a coordinator layout. So this layout is described as a superpowered frame layout which is used to facilitate how views within your layout interact with each other. So let me just show you guys how exactly this works. You can see that it has the app bar layout under which the toolbar is present. It says constraint layout, which includes content main. So this XML file is also included in this app bar main function. So now let's add anything that you want. I'm going to add widgets. I'll go to buttons first. Yeah, I'm going to add a button over here. I can even drag this button till the end of it. Yeah, I can edit it over here. Let me just show you what is written. It says hello world. It is the text which is included, which is of the content main class. And you can zoom in and zoom out using this toolbar over here. We can change the app theme if you want, guys. You can also check the Android availability over here, the number of pixels. And if you want it in the landscape, portrait, or UI mode, night mode, any other way that you want to display or view this particular layout, you can use this orientation feature. Now, talking about selecting the design surface, we have design plus blueprint. We've selected design plus blueprint by default. We have blueprint alone, we have design alone. You can also alter your specifications over here. You can change the width of the layout. You can also change the height of the layout. ID is most important feature here, guys. If you know the ID of a particular element, you can easily find it, or you can easily differentiate it between two parent or two child classes. So the text that is given as button, I can change it to new button. Yeah, you can see that it is changed over here. And the layout width, yeah, you can see that there are a lot of options over here. You can also change the text style, right? You can also include a checkbox over here. So I'm going to just drag and drop it. You can see that the checkbox is present over here. So I'm just going to take the checkbox and place it in here. I'm going to place this checkbox. Okay, so I'm going to put it to left. Yeah, so I'm going to just say wrap component. I'm going to change the view of this. So I'm just going to place this checkbox over here, and I'm going to select the checkbox value to be true. Okay. So if you're not able to find it over here, you can just go to the text. I can just say true. And let me just check the design over here. Yeah, you can see that the checkbox is selected. Yeah, to get a better view of this, let me just quickly show you this. And now say for example, if I try writing false, let me just delete it. Yeah, to get a better view of this. Yeah, you can see that it is checked over here. And if I say false, it is going to uncheck. Okay. So this is how you can design your own layout. All you can do is you can just drag your palette and drop it over the design editor. You can edit the placing of it. You can edit the size and everything. Okay. Now, say for example, if you want this particular checkbox to be aligned to center. So I'm going to write layout as center horizontal, and let's check. Yeah, you can see that it is coming to the center of the design layout. And if I say center vertical, let's see. Yeah, you can see that it is coming to the center of the vertical plane. So this is exactly how you can customize your application. So with this, we come to the end of this Android design layout tutorial. And I hope you guys have understood what exactly has been taught to you in this session. If you found this session interesting, just comment your comments in the comment section below. And if you have any queries related to the topics that we've discussed in this session, just put them across in the comment section below and we'll get back to you at the earliest. And also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel to never miss out any updates on the trending technologies. Okay, so that's it from my end for today, guys. Thank you for watching this video. Happy learning.
I hope you have enjoyed listening to this video. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries, and we will reply them at the earliest. Do look out for more videos in our playlist and subscribe to Edureka channel to learn more. Happy learning!